What if Jesus deliberately destroyed 2,000 animals to make a point? What if that wasn't cruelty? It was a calculated theological statement that most of us completely miss. The story is bizarre. A man possessed by demons. Jesus casts them out. They enter a herd of pigs. The entire herd stampedes off a cliff and drowns. Everyone reads it as a strange exorcism. But if you understand what Jesus was actually doing, culturally, theologically, spiritually, you realize he was making a radical declaration about power, about values, and about who he came for. We're on the eastern shore of the Sea of Galilee, Gentile territory, not Jewish land. This matters because what happens next only makes sense if you know the cultural context. There are pigs, thousands of them. In Jewish law, pigs are unclean. You don't touch them. You don't eat them. But here, in Gentile land, their livelihood, their wealth, their survival. Jesus enters this territory and encounters a man no one else would approach. He's violent, dangerous, chained, living in tombs because he's too unstable for society. This is someone society has given up on. Jesus asks one question: "What is your name?" The demon answers, "My name is Legion, for we are many." Stop. Legion. That's a Roman military term. Around 5,000 soldiers. The demon isn't just saying there are many demons. It's evoking a military occupation, an invading force. The man is inhabited by what amounts to a spiritual army. Then something shocking happens. The demons beg Jesus not to send them away. They ask him to send them into the pig herd instead. Jesus agrees. And immediately 2,000 pigs stampede down the cliff and drown. Here's what everyone misses. This wasn't random. This was a statement. Think about what just happened from the Jewish perspective. Pigs are unclean animals, symbols of everything that violates Torah. When demons enter pigs and destroy them, Jesus makes a connection. Evil and uncleanness are the same force. The pig's destruction reveals the demon's nature. Evil corrupts and destroys. That's what it does. It can't help itself. From the Gentile perspective, economic devastation. 2,000 animals gone. Entire livelihoods destroyed. And notice what happens next. The people beg Jesus to leave. They're not grateful. They don't celebrate the man's healing. They only care about their loss. They ask Jesus to go because he's a threat to their way of life. Jesus honors their request and leaves. But here's the statement. Jesus valued one man's spiritual freedom more than 2,000 animals. He valued human restoration over economic security. He was saying something radical. Your priorities are wrong. Your pigs matter less than a human soul. This cuts across every cultural boundary. To the Jewish observers, Jesus has authority over uncleanness and demonic forces. To the Gentiles, spiritual power transcends your economic concerns, and to everyone. This is what matters to me. This is what I care about. Now watch what happens next. The healed man wants to follow Jesus, be a disciple, but Jesus tells him no. Go home. Tell your people what I did for you. This is unusual. Throughout the Gospels, Jesus often tells people to stay quiet about miracles. But here in Gentile territory, he commands the man to speak. Why? Because this healed demoniac becomes the first Gentile evangelist in Scripture. Long before Peter's vision, long before Paul. This man goes through the Decapolis, the 10 cities, proclaiming what Jesus did. He becomes a bridge, a living testimony, and people marvel. So what is Jesus actually revealing? 5 things. First, spiritual power is real. Demons aren't metaphors or psychological phenomena. They're beings with agency, names, desires. They negotiate. Jesus treats them as real, and he demonstrates absolute authority over them. This isn't spiritual philosophy. This is spiritual warfare. Second, his authority transcends cultural boundaries. He's a Jewish rabbi in Gentile territory with the same power. This foreshadows the entire gospel trajectory. Jesus came for Jews and Gentiles. His authority works everywhere. Third, evil needs a vessel. Demons can't exist freely. They're parasitic. They need something to corrupt. And they destroy what they inhabit. The pig's destruction reveals what evil inherently does. It annihilates. Fourth, human value exceeds economic value. The Gentiles chose their pigs over openness to Jesus. Jesus chose the man over their comfort. He's saying, you're prioritizing wrong. Your comfort, your profit, your way of life. These matter less than a human soul. Fifth, no one is beyond healing. This man was so broken he had to be chained. So disturbing he lived in a graveyard. So far removed from society he seemed less than human. But Jesus went directly to him, engaged, liberated, and sent him as a witness. The demon-possessed pigs aren't a bizarre detail. They're a theological bomb. They reveal what Jesus values, how he operates, what his authority encompasses. They reveal the price of spiritual freedom and the nature of evil. And when you understand that, everything changes.